personnel updates at all? Or?
No, we're kind of status quo. The guys that are supposed to play are going to play, and the guys that can't won't.
Any play limitations in terms of number of plays, guys like Kohler or Donagawa?
No,
like
just watch them closely, you know. But we're going in just full go, you know, with all our guys.
You were able to use Chris at times last year to kind of steady the game or kind of run the clock down and kind of lean on teams and pound out a lead, carry your lead through. Where do you think that kind of technique and that calm can come from?
That's an interesting question. You know, it's part of the new personality of our team. You know, that we have to find those kind of nuances within the game for our own personality, and I think some of that's going to come naturally. Some of it we're going to have to create on our own through schemes or personnel groupings and things of that nature. So I think a little bit of that remains to be seen. You know, obviously we feel great about what Jesse and Bishop are bringing to the table. I feel even better this year than I have in the past about our quarterback and his ability to manage those situations within the game, and maybe putting a little bit more on him rather than just saying we got to run the ball and work the clock, and him making good decisions and when to run it, when to throw it, things of that nature. Going line of scrimmage with kind of more of two calls in mind and running the best play available. So, but definitely a change of philosophy when you don't have just that workhorse back that you know can just kind of grind you out and pound you out. So, you know, I think part of that for me is I have to get a feel for our guys as the games get going and when we get put in those situations where to go with the ball.
Do you enter openers really curious about what your team is going to look like, or do you usually feel like you have a handle on what they're going to look like? Or I
think there's always curiosity. You know, I mean, you feel like you got a great handle, but things change when the lights come on. Sometimes guys play better than they've played in practice, and some guys don't play quite as good as they've practiced. And so I try to go in with an idea of what might happen, but I try also not to be shocked when things go a different direction than the way I envisioned. And you try to force the hand a bit, especially on offense as a play caller, to generate some things for guys to get them in the flow of the game. But again, there's as much curiosity probably for me as anybody, because some guys you just don't know. I know what 17 is going to be like Saturday night. I know what Drew Schaefer is going to be like Saturday night. I know what 88 is going to be like, number 2. We got some other guys I'm not quite sure. We got to figure it out.
From the outside, the defense is maybe as big a curiosity as anything else. Do you have that as well, or where do you
I'm excited to watch our guys play. I think we've made great strides. I love what we've done schematically. I like what we've done personnel-wise. And again, we have to go play. And some things that have looked really good in training camp might not look as good, and some things that maybe we didn't think were going to be a huge part of our defensive scheme might look even better. And so that's what we have to work through as the game gets going, and who we are and what we're about, and what our pass rush is like and how we cover, and who's tackling and who's missing those tackles that in practice we're blowing the whistle on and giving them the tackles. So there's a lot of information we have to gather early on, but I'm excited to watch our guys play.
Would Kevin Smith be one of those guys that you just have to wait and see as the game goes on?
I think so. You know, Kevin has made a tremendous return. I'm so excited for him and fired up for him. He's had an unbelievable attitude about this and the way he's attacked the injury and the rehab. But again, he's got to play the game now, you know, and he's got to get tackled, and hopefully we can get him into the flow of the game and see how he does.
So is he fully ready to go? Like, there's no
full ready to go.
Steve, traditionally as a play caller, how do you attack defenses that are known as ones that create turnovers and are really, really aggressive?
Well, you stress, obviously, the protection of the ball, you know, and we work in our ball security drills. You really try to stress to the quarterback of making good decisions with the ball, not trying to force things. You know, and then I think you have to try to combat some of their aggressiveness with your own aggressiveness. You can't sit back and be passive, or they'll continue to attack you. So we have to make sure that we're aggressive as well, and that we're attacking them as much as they're going to attack us.
And with Trey Watson, what was the mindset in terms of awarding him a scholarship?
He earned it. You know, and we had one to offer. We had room, and he's earned it. He's done everything to work at this. I'm always appreciative of guys that have a plan, and they're trying to get something done in their life. And Trey did that. He's an awesome kid. He works his tail off, not only on the field and the classroom, and couldn't be more proud of him.
Is he the only one then like that for this year? Or?
Yes.
Some of the depth in the secondary, guys like Ducray and Peters, is there a plan for how much you'd like to?
Well, they're going to play. You know, again, some of that's remains to be seen, the flow of the game, what's happening in the game. But they're going to play. We're going to get them on the field for sure. First time for Marcus really being on the field in the game. And so, again, we just have to kind of play it by ear. We've got an idea of what we want to do. We're going to have to play it by ear as the flow of the game's going and what we're doing and what San Diego State's doing and how much they dictate how much those guys will play.
Did you spend enough time at San Diego State to even feel like that's a place you worked at, or when you see them Saturday night? Or
I know what my office looked like. I was sleeping there the most of the time. Hadn't even moved down there yet, but I know that they have great facilities. By the time I was there, they had just built that new building. I think it was a year old. Great facilities, good setup from a practice standpoint. It's a place that I've always thought could be really good. Growing up in Southern California and being down there, that those kids. To get those kids to stay home and go to that school and live in that city, it's a great place to go. I've always thought they could be really good, and Rocky's done a tremendous job here. Just kind of picking up right where Brady left off, and they've done a nice job. They've got that thing going in the right direction for sure.
Steve, consider it's almost like a mini road game from a management standpoint. How does that affect kind of your game day experience and what the team goes through?
I think we'll be fine. I don't think it'll be an issue. This will be about our fourth time doing the game there, from the Apple Cup last year, the spring game, the mock game, this fall camp, and now going there again. It just feels normal to our guys now. I don't see it as an issue.
How hungry are these guys looking as we're getting closer to game day?
I use the analogy early in training camp about the dogs on the porch and keeping them on their leash and then letting them off the leash, and they were all kind of barking today about wanting to get let off the porch and off the leash and let them go. So I think they're excited. Anytime, it's like anybody. Anytime you keep banging heads with the same guy across from you, you're just kind of excited to go play somebody else. And I think one of the keys for us is I know we'll be pumped up. I know we'll be excited, but we need to be smart, and we need to play smart football. It's something we've been stressing since day one of this training camp. And not let our emotions get the best of us, especially early in the ball game. Play really smart football, whether that be scheme-wise, attitude-wise, the penalty stuff after plays. We just got to play smart football early on and then let the game come to us as we go. And I think we'll be able to do that.
Was there anything from last year's opener that you can take when you reviewed and look back? Is there anything you can take just from the opener?
I just thought, in general, we might have spent ourselves a little too much in the build-up to get to the game, and I don't know if we had the right type of energy and enthusiasm that I'm accustomed to our team having once the game kicked off. And so we'll try to monitor that a little bit better and kind of build to kick off rather than exhaust ourselves before the game even begins. And I think we can generate some of that ourselves and continue to be aggressive. And we were a bit conservative last year early on, obviously a new quarterback and trying to find our way. And so from the opening snap, we're going to try to be us and stay aggressive, and whether that's offense, defense, or special teams.
Just putting more on Keith. Did you do a lot of either or with him by the end of last year?
Yeah, we got into it much more. Obviously with the no huddle stuff about midway through the year, and then late into the year a lot and quite extensively in the bowl game. So we're going to continue down that path. And he's such a bright kid. He's got such a high football IQ. That he gives us that ability to do that type of stuff, which is a nice luxury to have.
This might be asking too much, but does Eric Hall, do you still plan on swinging him around for the first couple games? Or is
a little bit remains to be seen. I got to see how we play.
Right.
Micah Hatchie's going to play, and Ben Reva's going to play. The first time they're really playing football, and Micah's gotten in a little bit more. Got to see how it looks, and how it plays out, and there'll be a lot of conversations on the headsets about where we're at, how are we doing, if a guy needs to spell or not, and so a little bit of that remains to be seen. It is definitely a topic of discussion for us. It's on the table, and it will remain on the table throughout the ballgame.
I know you can dress a lot of kids because of the home games. Does it change because of CenturyLink?
Yeah, it does. We're a little limited locker space-wise over there. They don't have nearly as many lockers as we're accustomed to, so we won't be able to dress the entire team. We'll dress probably upwards of about 80 of the 105.
Is your defensive line depth ideally where you'd like it to be for the first game?
D-line?
Yeah, depth-wise,
I think
rotation-wise.
we're great. I love the depth we have up front on defense on the D-line. I mean, we got some guys playing service team that 3 years ago have been maybe starting for. So we're in the right place as far as the numbers are concerned and staying fresh for 4 quarters and not having to exhaust guys early in the game. So I feel good about that.
Jamora Cooper surgeries today?
Yeah, one should be done and one should be starting here pretty soon.